Hi, this is Leah from the Yoga House in Kingston, New York. I'm going to teach you how to get into Viparita Dandasana today. It's a deep, deep back bend. It's a really advanced posture. So what we'll do is we'll go through some preparatory and warm-up poses today. Although I so strongly recommend that you do at least a 45-minute practice to start, get your spine really moving, warm it up, and actually it helps to have, believe it or not, a sort of sticky, sweaty mat for this one. I've seen prettier versions, but Viparita Dandasana looks basically like this. Before you attempt it, make sure you're already comfortable in upward bow, which looks like this, and scorpion or shoulder stand, like this. Alright, let's start warming up. First, you'll want to try bow pose. This will warm up your spine and the front of your shoulders. Grab feet or ankles and lift. Imagine straightening your legs. Let it lift your chest. Breathe deeply, maybe rocking on the belly. Bow pose number 2, this time knees together. This will continue warming the spine and it'll prepare you for Dvipada legs. Next up, camel pose. Love your melty spine, keep breathing. Give yourself child's pose or cat-cow when you're done. Leaning back. Tighten the buttocks, send hips forward, grabbing ankles. We'll try it again. Make sure you're breathing deeply. Then we'll do camel pose number 2. Try placing hands, then the forearms on the floor behind you, using the wall if it helps. Once you're in this pose, notice that the arms mimic Dvipada arms. You want your forearms on the ground with your shoulders directly over the elbows. I'm using the wall, just walking down, sending hips forward, bringing my forearms all the way to the ground and grabbing my toes, maybe my feet. Now that we're warmer, let's give it another go. Camel position, send hips forward, reach arms back, use the wall to help you down. Eventually, resting forearms on the ground and walking the fingers toward the feet. Take 3 to 5 deep breaths here and come out of it nice and slowly. Next, use the wall to help you back bend deeply. Again, you can mimic Dvipada arms by resting your forearms on the wall. Notice how I do that here, bending my arms, getting the forearms on the ground. It almost looks like I'm doing a kind of vertical version of the Dvipada posture. This is helping me open my chest and the front of my shoulders, so essential to get into the full version of the posture. Next, I love this one. Get to bridge from shoulder stand. It'll help you develop the spinal flexibility and the abdominal control you'll need to maintain Dvipada. You can try one leg at a time. And then try both legs at once. To deepen, bridge now, maybe grabbing ankles. Next, come back into bridge. This time practice Dvipada legs by extending them all the way and trying to flatten your feet. Notice I'm taking my hands onto my low back, fingers facing the outer hip there. Really flatten the feet down on the ground. Use the butt and hips to lift up high. Now we're ready for forearm stand or scorpion. These are prereq poses for our target pose because they require the same shoulder strength you'll need to lift your head up off the ground and to properly align your upper arms. You'll also see later that forearm stand provides a good way to get into Dvipada. If you're still working on forearm stand or shoulder or scorpion, definitely look at another tutorial because there's a lot that happens in that shoulder girdle area. Then we'll come into upward bow, lengthening one leg at a time to get a feel for Dvipada legs. One side, then the other, seeing if you can build trust here. See what it feels like to straighten both feet if you have enough traction on the ground. Here I'm doing it again, straightening one side. I'm straightening both legs a little bit, straightening one side, then the other. Just playing around. Time to try Viparita arms. Some people recommend taking the head to the ground first, but I'm afraid of cervical spine compression, so I prefer to slowly lower myself by bending one arm at a time. And just like in the previous practice pose, try straightening one leg at a time just to get a feel. As you lower here, really dig the fingers into the ground, lift up out of the shoulder girdle. You can take your face sort of toward the mat, help it lift up. Building trust once again. Get out of it via upward bow, and then settle out of it as you usually do. We are almost ready. If this is your first time trying the full posture, don't come in as deeply as you possibly can at first. Ease into it and see where you're at, and if it's okay to go on. Here I do just that. I'm not coming fully into the posture, just sort of playing around with it, making sure my body feels okay. Straightening legs just a little bit. Almost getting there. And every time you try it, you can get the legs a little bit straighter. And in between any movements this taxing on your back, give your spine what it needs. Knees into chest, gentle twists, happy baby, all that. This time, approach Viparita from shoulder stand. This method of entrance will ensure that your shoulder alignment is accurate, meaning your shoulders should hover above your elbows. This way of getting in will also tell you if you have more chest and shoulder opening to do. You want to be far enough from the wall that you can get some leg extension. So it might take a few times to figure out what distance is right. But you'll get there, walking yourself down. And if you feel safe, working on straightening the legs, coming into the full version of the posture, or something close. Now, if you're feeling supple and strong, approach the full posture. Be sure to lift out of the shoulders to keep your head up and to firm up the bum as you straighten your legs. Oh yeah, and unless your feet have a good and sticky surface, they're going to slip out from underneath you. That's why I use the wall.